Oh, hey there. I see a super scientist watching this video. Um, right now, we're about to get started on an experiment. We started to talk about this experiment during class, and I'm going to show you guys what you're going to be doing to really get it going. So remember, we talked about during class these two different objects. We did some observations, we asked some questions, we made some hypotheses. It's time to do some experimenting. So let's talk about what we're going to be doing for the experiment. I'm just going to do a real quick, very quick review of what led us to this point, okay? And then we will do the experiment. You will make a Flipgrid in which you explain what happened during your experiment, okay? And you could also make a Flipgrid in which you show the experiment. Up to you. But before we get to the experiment, let me explain some background. So as a reminder, we are working towards this point where you are going to come up with your very own experiment, your very own investigation. So what we talked about during class today was this cycle of inquiry. Not in every class we didn't talk about all parts of this, but we did talk about at least the beginning. The very first part of a scientific inquiry is you start to observe the world. And remember, we did that with these things. We observed the differences between them. We felt how some of them feels different. One of them feels warmer, one of them feels colder. We listened to how they sound different. We felt how they feel different. Then we asked some questions. Then we made some hypotheses, and we're about to get started on the experiment. And then we are going to do the experiment, collect some data, analyze the experiment, and then we're going to go back to asking some more questions. But we're going to get there. This whole process we're doing in order to learn about the scientific process so you can come up with your own experiments in the future. So remember, we made some observations of our different objects, okay? And then we asked some questions. The question that we asked, will ice cubes melt faster on the tinfoil or on the carpet? You all made hypotheses, okay? It's time to do our experiment. For our experiment, what we're going to do is we're going to put our two objects, our carpet and our tinfoil, on plates so that we don't make a mess. Okay, you might want to use some bigger plates. I have these ones. You're going to get some ice. Now, I gave people who don't have ice makers at home, I gave them something like this so you can make ice in ice cube trays. So if you need to make an ice, that's fine. Do that. If it takes you a day, that's okay. Try and get two pieces of ice that are very similar in size. Okay, so I have ice in my cup right here. I'm going to pick two pieces out that are about the same size. Oops, it's cold. Ice is cold, huh? So I'm saying, can I make these two? Yeah, here's two pieces of ice that are about the same size. Okay, and notice what else I have here. I have out a phone that has my timer on it. If you have any kind of timer, you can use that. And you're going to take these two pieces of ice, and at the exact same time, you're going to put them on our two materials, and you're going to watch to see what happens. You're going to be looking to see which piece of ice is going to melt faster. Is it going to melt faster on the carpet or on the tinfoil? As soon as you do that, you might need a helper. Maybe your parent or a sibling can help you. Press start. So as soon as you put these pieces of ice cubes out, press start on your timer. Okay, that'll get started. You'll time how long it takes. Watch really closely. See what's happening. Try not to touch your ice cubes as it's going. Just watch. And then I want you guys, as you're watching, noticing what happens between these two different ice cubes, you're then going to write down in your notebook everything that you notice, all the things that you notice. Say which one is melting faster, which one is melting slower. Okay? When you are done with that, you're going to make a Flipgrid saying what happened. You can also do this whole experiment on your Flipgrid. The whole experiment can be on your Flipgrid. And then you don't have to make a second Flipgrid. You can just film yourself doing the whole thing if you want to. Okay? So, that's the assignment. So I hope you guys have a wonderful scientific experiment, and I'm looking forward to seeing what happens. Thanks, everybody. And message me if you have any questions.